Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back for an afternoon update here on the tropics, my friends. Hope everyone is doing well. We're going to get this show rolling here in 1 second. Let me finish getting set up here. But what's up, everybody? Hope everyone is doing really well. Hope you guys are doing good, having a good day out there. We got some more info here on the tropics. Let me go ahead and bring this up real quickly. Alright, we're going to finish setting up the stream real fast. But hope everyone's doing good, man. Hope you guys are having a great day. So we got new info for you guys here. Here, let me do this. Yeah, we got new info for you guys here on the storm. What's up, lady? Hope you're doing good. Saying looks like we could be getting some rain soon. Yeah. Yep. So if you guys are looking at the satellite here, you can actually see where that central circulation is now. We're taking a look up here towards like northeastern Florida. You can actually see that center circulation over here. Just southeast of Jacksonville here. Definitely is pretty well defined. That circulation looks pretty darn good. There is a bit of convection right now, a bit of storm activity over the kind of east central, kind of northeastern side of Florida, associated with this storm, which we're gonna go ahead and actually bring up our radar here for you guys so we can kind of show you. Let's see here. Jonathan says it's pouring buckets in Sanford, Florida. Where's that? Is it up north? Here, let's take a look at the radar. Oh, yeah, the Jacksonville radar's down. Yeah, look at the current storm activity out here. We got a lot of storms going on with this storm system here. Looks like it's really coming down out there by like Pearson. Eventually, this is going to track over by like Ocala and whatnot. What's up, Renita? Saying, hey, Andrew, what's up? Hope you're doing good. What's up, Ponderosa? Saying glad to see you live. Glad to be here, man. I tell you, good to see you as well, Ponderosa. What's up, Calvin? Saying hi, Andrew. What's up? Good to see ya. What's up, Evan? Hope you're doing good. Anyways, folks, so we're going to dive into models. Since we got the new info out here for everybody, we're going to go ahead and bring up our hurricane models. So let's go ahead and bring these over here to you guys. So this is the latest guidance that we got here from these hurricane models here overall. As you can still see, I mean, even with the latest update, there is still a little bit of uncertainty here. The middle ground, kind of roughly has this thing kind of riding pretty close to the coastline here of like, Florida, of course, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana here. There is still a decent gap between these models here, indicating that there is a little bit of uncertainty still, obviously. So we're gonna need to like work that out over the next little bit, over the next while. Believe it or not, we actually had the hurricane hunters go out. They did a training mission. It wasn't a mission in that area, but they were investigating. Let's see here. They're actually investigating the conditions just off the western coast of Florida. They've already landed back here in Lakeland, where I'm at. But as you can see, the earlier flight though, they did go out, kind of measured the wind speeds and all that stuff, and just seeing what conditions are going to be out there ahead of the storm. But they did do a drop sonde. Here, which we're gonna show you guys real quickly. So this was the data they collected. It actually indicated a relatively saturated environment here. I don't know if you can see that, but that relative humidity column is pretty moist, especially in the kind of lower levels here, or lower mid-levels. There's a little bit of mid-level dryness they found, but we're going to have to see, because the models, they really don't show moisture being too much of an issue with this storm. To be honest with you, I think it's mostly a shear issue, is what really prevents this thing from, kicking up to its maximum, So Let's see here. Calvin says, I live in Houston. Can the track shift west because it's several days out? I doubt it, to be honest. You know, I mean, yeah, it is a couple days out, but, you know, there's a handful of models that, you know, have this thing pulling north at some point here. Let me do a little bit of a... We're going to bring up more models here, actually. Let's bring this back up real fast here. Let's hop over here to the GFS here. So essentially what's going to probably prevent that from happening is another storm system here across the central U.S. You can kind of see here this high pressure up north. You have a little bit of a boundary here going on. This is probably going to keep that away from you, as this thing will, you know, steer eventually probably inland, from what models are, you know, suggesting and whatnot. So we're going to have to look out for that. I mean, you know, also, once again, the majority of the hurricane models here, you know, as of right now, have this thing just kind of going up there towards like Louisiana, as of now. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But I doubt it. I don't think it'll go out there. Let's see here. Whitney says, I live in Gulfport, Mississippi. Yeah, Gulfport is an area we should keep an eye out there for. The good news, like I mentioned earlier, is that I don't really think this thing's going to be a hurricane, or, you know, there is a chance it might not even be a tropical storm either. You know, this thing could just be a depression, which is very possible. Regardless, it needs watched. And, you know, the conditions can definitely change. I mean, it could look a little bit better going off back into the waters, or, you know, the wind shear could be a little bit weaker. I mean, there is a couple of things we do need to look out for, of course. You know, things could change between now and then, of course. But, I mean, based off of the current info we have, I don't think it's going to be anything major. You know, no major hurricane. I mean, you can actually see, I mean, it does kind of stay relatively closer to the coast with that latest update, it looks like. To me, anyways, it looks like it is a bit closer to the coastal areas here. So we'll have to see what happens. Let's see, will Lake Charles be getting any of this? So, here, let me actually go and bring up Lake Charles here. Lake Charles, Louisiana. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, you guys are along the southwestern side. So, you know, I wouldn't rule it out. There's a couple a couple models here that do show a possible further west track out there, but, you know, it's nothing really, to worry about as of right now, to be honest with you. I mean, we'll have to keep an eye on it and see what it does here. Let me go ahead and bring up the HWRF here. We actually have the 06 UTC or 06 Zulu run here from earlier, in which, you know, according to the HWRF here, you can see that this thing, you know, could go out there by Mississippi, Alabama, just kind of as a, you know, a decent low. You know, the HWRF not even really showing much of anything major. Let me see here. I live in Michigan. The last storm blew out our electrical box. Electrician said the smart meter caused it. We're lucky our house didn't catch fire. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is for sure. They called it wind damage. Really? Huh. Yeah, well, I'm glad that didn't happen, of course. You know, it's not very good. Let's check up on some other models here. We have HMON here as well. Do they have... Okay, we have the 12 Zulu running now. HMON... Yeah, really not showing much. Really not showing much, which is good. So as of now, I mean, it seems pretty minimal. I mean, obviously we do got to be watching this system here. You know, there could be some new updates that come that, you know, could make this thing a little bit stronger. But, you know, from the guidance we have right now, like I mentioned, I mean, it doesn't seem to be anything, you know, major. Or anything like that. You know, as of right now, definitely not hurricane. You know, we're not expecting a hurricane out of this here. We're not even, as of now, expecting a tropical storm either. You know, what this will, from what now, you know, right now, from what I believe is going to happen here is that this is just going to be a bit of a wind maker, maybe a little bit of rain, you know, depending on where this thing ends up here. But, you know, nothing really extreme, which is good. Let's see here. I live in New Orleans. Gotcha. Yeah, New Orleans could get impacted by this system here. Let's actually take a look here at the intensity models here. You can actually see that the This is from the hurricane models we just looked at, only in terms of intensity. You can actually see, this is right where the tropical storm line starts, and this is where the Category 1 line starts here. So you can see the wind speed. So all of the models here you can see are pretty much below tropical storm. Now, obviously, you have a couple of models that do eventually kind of go into that tropical storm realm. But if you go off of the majority of the models here, you can actually see that most of them have this thing subtropical storm. This thing does have a good chance, I believe, at becoming a depression. That I do think is a possibility. But, really we're not seeing much guidance go into tropical storm realm. So once again, obviously hurricane right now is off the table. Same thing, tropical storm. I mean, I wouldn't call it impossible, but, doesn't seem as likely as it not being one, if that makes sense. More than likely, as of now, it'll probably just remain probably a depression. Which even depressions can still, bring some issues and stuff. What's up, Isaac? Saying, hello, Andrew. Got a question. I don't think it'll happen, but do I think the Ring of Fire pattern will form a derecho? What? There is... All right, first of all, right now there is no derecho concerns. The only concern that we have right now, actually, today I should actually mention, we actually do have a bit of a concern with some MCS formation, but, as of right now, I don't see any of that issue, or really any of that being an issue as of right now, derecho-wise. But, yeah, that actually leads me to want to bring you guys over to the SPC real quickly. We need to take a bit of a look at the severe weather we have. So, actually, we do have an MCS that's expected to cause a bit of issues, out there by like Nebraska and all. Actually, let's just we'll bring this model, or this down here. So let's go ahead and bring y'all over here to over to the day one. So yeah, we actually do have our enhanced risk here today as well. As of now, we just have those two individual 2% risk out there for tornadic activity here. Some areas out there by Nebraska, southeastern South Dakota, a little bit of Wisconsin, Minnesota. We do have that being a concern. In terms of damaging winds, though, you can actually see we do have that hatch risk out there for today. We have a 30% risk out there in the red, 15 across the yellow, 5 across the brown here, regarding the potential out there for damaging winds. That is going to be a bit of a concern here, especially for today, and like later on, this evening and whatnot. It's going to be a fairly late storm system here that we're going to have to look out for. Of course, with it being nighttime, you have your concerns of, of course, nocturnal type of severe weather, which, it's kind of hard to see. But, if you know anybody in like central Nebraska, especially, that's kind of the hot spot here for today. We do have a bit of a hail threat here too. Just a long 15% risk here all the way from Nebraska through South Dakota into Minnesota and up in Wisconsin here. So anyways, but yeah, we're going to hop on back to the tropics now, though. So the overall formation here, according to the latest Hurricane Center update here, has us in an overall 40% chance probability of development. So basically, we do need to be keeping a close eye out there for it, for the potential of development here and everything like that. So we do have ourselves a 40% chance probability here of overall development here. That spans for actually the next 48 hours to the next 7 days. 7 days from we have a 40% chance overall probability of formation. That's only been increasing as well. This is only going up. So we'll have to see. Let me see here. Did I show the spaghetti models yet? I did. We can look back at them if you want me to. Let's see here. What's up, Frankie? Hope you're doing good, man. Glad to have you here. Let's see here. Was there a tornado in Pasco yesterday? So, I did hear something about tornadic activity in Florida. I'm not sure if it was Pasco, but I did hear something about it. Of course, I don't know if it was true. I mean, I did see it on Twitter, so... I don't know if that was true or not, but I did hear something about some type of tornadic activity in Florida, which was interesting. Cannot confirm, though. Cannot confirm. But anyways, but yeah, we're gonna hop on back over here to the models and stuff. So once again, everybody, if you're just tuning in here, this is the latest spaghetti models here from the latest models that's run. This is the 12 UTC run of the models, and the system right now is starting to work its way into Florida, in which you can see the majority of the models here. Does have the storm system kind of going northwest and eventually kind of pull out to the northeastern side of the Gulf here. Eventually possibly working its way towards the north central side before kind of interacting with another boundary, which is going to steer the storm up here to the north. So, obviously track is still a little bit unknown for sure exactly where the center is going to be touching land. We're going to have to see what happens, of course, but, you can see there is a bit of uncertainty here between the models, in terms of, the path that this thing could take. I mean, you got this one funky model that goes way out to the central Gulf, which obviously I don't think that's going to happen because, majority of the model shows otherwise. It's kind of an outcast, But, yeah, I mean, the track of this thing does appear to stay up and towards, like, the northeast side of the Gulf here overall. So, that is that. Now let's hop on back over here to the intensity guidance here. So once again, this is the same models, this is the same everything. This is just the the intensity. Just instead of graphing the track, we're now graphing the intensity here, in which I'm really happy to say that we are seeing mostly below tropical storm status here from these models. Obviously you have a couple that do show this thing briefly or, eventually becoming in the tropical storm realm, which, if you look at it, majority show otherwise, right? So majority actually don't show this thing being a tropical storm. So that's what we're going to have to go off of for now. Obviously, this is the intensity guidance here between multiple models. Not a singular model. It's obviously great to go off of multiple models. It's never good to just go off of one. I've seen way too many more people than I'd like to admit do it that way, where they only look at one model. It's very important that we look at every model, as many models as possible, in order to kind of break out the common denominator and whatever fits best, right? So, as of now, of course, everything's below tropical storm status. Now, we got to watch it, because there could be some new developments here, maybe. I mean, obviously, nature is crazy. And, there is a lot of, things a lot of moving parts, really, in which, storm could look a little bit better as it goes on the west side of Florida, than what we were expecting. I mean, wind shear could be a little weaker. I mean, it all just depends, and so we're just going to have to monitor the actual conditions too, in which, that's going to be placed into the models and stuff like that. Let's see here. Renita says, do I have to worry about anything? So with this system, no. Yeah, with this system, no. Obviously you're up in Georgia. The system is likely just going to be working its way south of Georgia, of course. Going possibly more towards like Mississippi, Louisiana. We'll have to see. Once again, track is still a little, which you can tell by the models. It's still not perfect. What's up, SPC? Hope you're doing good. But yeah, Renita, nothing big you got to worry about, or nothing concerning. So you're good. Let's see here. Lynn says, do I see the storm wandering more west? That's a really good question. So actually for that, let's hop over back to the models here and kind of see what some of these models are suggesting. So like the GFS, we were talking about, there is this little system here, a bit of high pressure, this could actually, allow for the storm to steer into the country here. It could, eventually allow for the storm to kind of work its way deeper into the country. It really depends on the models, and everything. As of now, it really seems like it wants to be hugging pretty close to the northeastern side of the Gulf. So I doubt it would go too much farther west, in my opinion. I don't think it'll go too much farther west. I believe is probably just going to be, mostly in the realm where it's showing now. I mean, it's been that way for the last little bit too. I mean, and this is only, like 2 or, 3 days from now, essentially. So, there is some, decent understanding of where this thing could go, but, obviously there is still a little bit of uncertainty as well with it. But I don't think so personally. I really don't think it'll go, super far to the west here. I think it'll, just kind of stay within the north central side of the Gulf here. I think that's that. No problem, Renita, of course. What about Western North Carolina? Yeah, you guys are good. You guys out there in North Carolina are fine. This is really not going to be any problem for you guys at all. Lynn says, thank you. Yeah, no problem. Of course. Let's see, do I think that in August we'll start seeing an uptrend in hurricanes? It's certainly possible. It really is. We'll just have to see. I mean, right now, here's something I will show you. Obviously this doesn't, count for everything, but I will show you the waters here. So right now, the sea surface temperatures here are very, very warm, especially out in the central northern Gulf. I mean, they are really, really warm. Now, just off the west coast of Africa, the waters are still pretty cool, as you can kind of see here. So anything working its way off of Africa, it isn't really going to do well because, all of that cold water, it needs to be a lot warmer, of course, here in the MDR or the main development region. So if we do get tropical activity soon, it's either going to be in the Gulf or the Caribbean, forming somewhere in here, more than likely. But, by the time we approach August, of course, things will likely be heated up more, of course, in which, there could be some, better conditions, and possibly maybe some storms rolling off the west coast of Africa. But as of now, I still think it's a little early for those. But if we do get tropical development, it's either going to be in the Gulf or, or the Caribbean like we were talking about. Let's see here. Vicky says, thank you. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Lynn says, thank you as well. Of course, you guys are very welcome. Let's see here. Ant says, that's going right over where I live in Louisiana. Yeah, so, the good news, though, Ant, is that we're not expecting anything massive with this storm here as of now. This thing is not going to be a hurricane. It's not forecasted to get anywhere near that strength as of now in the models. I don't think it really will, I mean, to be honest with you. But, at worst case scenario, from what I see with this system, is maybe a weak, short-lived tropical storm. But, most likely, I think it's probably just going to be a depression, a tropical depression, which, don't get me wrong, there still can be some impacts with that, in terms of flooding and all kinds of stuff. But, at least it's not going to be anything massive, no major hurricane or anything like that. So that's good. What's up, Misty? Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. Vienna says, it says a 40% chance of development could increase. Absolutely. And that's actually the latest from the Hurricane Center, is a overall 40% chance probability of development here. In which this thing does, has been increasing quite rapidly in terms of the, let's see here, from the latest, overall activity here from these here. So, we're definitely just going to have to keep an eye on it. I mean, the probability has indeed been going up here quite a bit here. So we're just going to have to watch that one pretty closely. But yeah, overall, we do have ourselves a 40% chance probability here for the next 7 days here. And, throughout the next 48 hours, we do have a 40% chance as well, which, that's been increasing quite a bit. Quite a bit. What's up? Hello from Louisiana. What's up, my friend? Hope you are doing well. Fam, I am not going to answer that right now. I'm going to lose half the viewers if I even try to teach that. Yeah, the more I go in depth, it's like people are like, yeah, I don't want to hear all that. I would be more than happy to talk about it though in a chat on Discord if you want to join. But I just try to keep things pretty simple on the channel here, But I hope you're doing good, Dulcin. Good to have you here, my friend. Good to have you here. Alrighty, so let's go and hop over here, our way over here to the SPC. We're going to take a look here at the overall risk here for today. So once again, nothing major tornadic-wise. We do have 2 areas of 2% chance, though, which we're going to have to look out there for, which, cross portions here of, Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin. We do have those 2% chance areas here overall. So we're going to have to look out there for that. So the good news, obviously, kinematic-wise, we're not seeing anything super strong, jet stream-wise, which is not contributing to anything massive today, thankfully. But we do have an MCS concern today, though, given other parameters in which, we're going to definitely need to, be looking out for, damaging winds especially being, a really, really big concern. So, with that being said, all hazards are on the table, though. All hazards are on the table, though. Damaging winds, once again, we do have that 30% hatch risk up here in Nebraska. That's where the main threat for, damaging winds and stuff like that is going to be here. In which we are going to have the possibility here of, some wind gusts possibly in excess, of 70 miles an hour or so. So we're definitely going to need to look out for that. Vienna says, oh yes, I'm curious about that. Yeah, we'll talk more about the science behind things in my Discord here. Like I said, I try to keep it relatively simple for everybody. I don't want to confuse anybody, which I've done that plenty of times on this channel where I go too in depth and everyone's like, okay. Some people are here just for the simple weather updates. A lot of people don't want to hear all that. Let's see here. Will Missouri get any severe weather next week? So as of now, hopping back over here to SPC, here for tomorrow, we do have ourselves actually a little bit of a threat tomorrow. Just a little level 1 marginal here, for central northern Missouri, which we're going to have to look into here overall. Nothing really big, no super big concern, no outbreak or anything like that, so don't worry. There will be a little bit of a concern for gusty winds in tomorrow's storms here, not really much of a hail threat here either. So we'll just need to watch out for a couple of storms tomorrow for the central northern side, which, of Missouri, which we could see, possibly a severe storm or two, which we'll look into. Let's see here. JT says, what about Indiana? Yeah, Indiana as well. Northern side, actually. You guys are in a level 1 marginal here for tomorrow. Day 3, just thunderstorm threats here. Today, you're looking pretty good. Can't rule out some storms, though, up here in Indiana today. But tomorrow, we do have a little bit of a threat for the northern side here of the state. So, actually, we have a level 2 slight risk up here for, like, Chicago area here. Southern, central Wisconsin. Like eastern Iowa as well, so definitely look out for that. But yeah, that does include portions of northern Indiana here in that level 1 threat here. Anyways, but yeah, so hopping all the way back over here, y'all. Take a look back at satellite here on Visible. You guys can see, there's that central circulation here just off the coast here of Jacksonville, Florida. You can see that convection is altered a little bit southwest of the main center, going on here. This thing is expected to work its way over Florida, going back into the waters here of the northern Gulf, in which, we are going to be seeing that potential here for, like I mentioned, potential tropical development here. The good news is that things seem to be pretty low end right now. We're not expecting any hurricane out of this, so don't worry. Tropical storm activity as of now is still unlikely at this moment. That could change in the near future. We'll have to see, but it doesn't really appear to be anything super anything super concerning. However, like I mentioned, this thing does have potential to be a depression, and yes, there is impacts related with tropical depressions as well, in which we are going to be seeing the possibility out here overall, regarding flooding and stuff like that. It just depends. There's been a lot of flooding going on here lately. I don't know if you guys have been hearing about everything going on. We actually do have a decent threat today, even from this system here. If we hop over here to the outlook, oh, they added a moderate. They added a moderate for southeastern Virginia here, just south of Richmond. But for the system here, we do actually have a level 2 slight risk here, which gives at least a 15% chance probability here, of development overall. And up north even too, up here by the northern central plains, upper Midwest here, we do got ourselves, at least a 15% chance for flooding as well. Especially if you're in a low-lying spot in those, flood-prone areas here. Certainly look out for that. But yeah, that's new since this morning. Yeah, this morning it was just all slight, but they added a moderate here, at least a 40% flooding threat. So got a bit of big concern for flooding in like southeastern Virginia here. Let's see here. What's up, Misty? Hope you're doing good. JT says Texas. There's not much going on in Texas with this system here, but we do have a bit of a flooding concern yet again for Texas here today. Along the south central side of the state out there. South of San Angelo is the level 2 threat, but San Angelo isn't a level 1 here. That does extend into Fort Worth area or near Fort Worth. So, once again, a little bit of a flooding concern for today also being possible. Let's take a look at the multi-day precipitation here. Hopping over for the next 5 days. With this system, like I mentioned, will likely bring a lot of rainfall to the region here. Despite it not being a hurricane or, possibly not even a tropical storm, there is still likely going to be a decent amount of precipitation. There likely is going to be a decent amount of precipitation in which, we are going to be seeing, good potential of flooding here. So that is something that we need to look out for. Once again, it really depends on where this thing ends up here. The tracks are still a little bit iffy, but, out there by Louisiana, Mississippi, it's you guys need to look out there because there definitely could be a bit of a bit of heavy rainfall. I mean, as of right now, it does seem within the range for some of those coastal areas here, maybe upwards of 3 to 5 locally higher amounts being possible. Of course, it's not final, of course, but we're gonna have to look out for that. There is certainly a good amount of rain working its way to that region here. Let's see here. Misty says, how much rain has Texas seen in the past week? I can pull that up for you. Here, let me bring this up real quickly. I need to pull it up on Pivotal here, which we'll do now. But yeah, they've been getting a lot out there, haven't they? Observe precipitation. We'll do the last 168 hours here of precipitation. They have been getting a lot. A whole lot. There, let's do regional South Central U.S. here. So yeah, Central Texas has seen a good. I mean, we're well within 6 to 12 inches in some spots here. I mean, it's really heavy towards Central Texas here, and they have a bit more, of course, today. Still got that flooding threat out there, that level 2 we were talking about. But yeah, no, they've been getting hit pretty good. Let's see here. Misty says it's been very dry in Missouri half this month. Yeah, I got you. It's beginning part of this year for Florida, it's been pretty darn dry where I'm at. But it's obviously, actually yesterday we had a heck of a storm system roll through. We actually got 2 inches of rain from a single line of storms yesterday where I was at. My Mesonet I have calculated a lot. Definitely a lot of rainfall out there, but there is definitely, like I mentioned, a bit of severe weather concern for Missouri coming up here, Misty. Once again, nothing big, just a level 1 threat, but that could bring some rainfall to the region here, again tomorrow. So we'll definitely have to see. I might do some coverage tonight, actually, across portions of Nebraska. So we'll have to look out there for that. Let's see here. But yeah, so we'll probably go live sometime later. I'm not exactly sure what time. I mean, models like HRRR, they suggest right around 8 to 10 p.m. mostly whenever the heavy stuff starts. But a lot of the storm activity starts kind of in the afternoon, late afternoon, early evening. But anyways, I do want to hop you guys over here to my website real quickly. Let's see here. Because I am really happy to show you what I've been working on, y'all. So this is my website I've been working on, of course. Go over to the tropics. It shows the latest info here, showing the system. But I really want to show you the recon here. We've recently had some data come in from the P3 Orion aircraft. This is what they launched earlier. I only got the last little snippet of data because I had to update my script here. I had a little bit of an error in it, but yeah, I'm gonna make this available for you guys here soon, which you guys can look at the flight data. I have it run through a Python script, which is pretty fancy, but I still need to do a little bit of tweaks to it. Of course, some of the things are a little bit off, but yeah, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit more, but I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys that. But that's our site. I've been working hard on it, dude. It's been a lot. I need to look at the satellite too. We've been having a little bit of problems with that, but anyways, besides the point, we'll go ahead and close out of that. Yeah, I'm excited to introduce a lot of sweet observational stuff with you guys. Let's see here. Try Me says, when is northern Louisiana going to get some rain? You got some rain on the way, my friend. That you do. Here, let's go ahead and hop over here back to the multi-day rainfall. So this is through the next 1 to 5 days here. That's not right here. Let's try to reload that here. A lot of that's going to be for, a lot of the eastern side. It depends on which side of northern Louisiana you're on. But you can see, we're probably going to see a little bit of rainfall. Just once again, depends on the track of the system. There is a few things that, a few factors at play, of course. But yeah, we do have some rain coming into the region here. Obviously, most of that from this tropical system is going to be more than likely towards like the Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama coast. That's where a lot of the heaviest of that's likely going to be. Now, remember, like I mentioned, the rainfall totals, these are not final. They're just, kind of an idea as of right now. But yeah, they have New Orleans right now. WPC forecast has New Orleans right around 4 inches. Baton Rouge, same thing here. But we definitely could have some hot spots, some pretty heavy rainfall out there. But yeah, a lot of the northern side, pretty calm. I mean, out by Shreveport, really not expecting a whole lot in the next 5 days or so. But a lot of the precipitation associated with this disturbance here seems to be up for a lot of the central southern side of the state. Try Me says, thank you. Yeah, no problem. You are welcome. Yeah, guys, if y'all have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them for y'all. I'm definitely glad to be here to help y'all, with any questions you all might have. Y'all know we're here for you. And we're going to help keep you guys weather aware and updated. So, taking a peek back at the satellite here. Once again, we got our main central circulation here just off the coast of northeast Florida. It's literally about to make, quote-unquote landfall, even though it's, not a hurricane or a tropical storm right now. But we do have the central circulation here just off the coast of Jacksonville. It is rolling inwards. It's going to continue rolling west here throughout the day, in which eventually this is going to go back into the northeastern side of the Gulf. Or up here in the north central side even, in which, it will be tracking into a lot warmer waters. We're at 30, 31 degrees Celsius waters out there. The closer it gets to Louisiana, the warmer the waters are. But remember, it's not just solely off of the waters. There is other factors to contribute to tropical formation, such as, moisture levels throughout the atmosphere, wind shear, the kinematics is very important and stuff. So, there is a lot at play here. Moisture doesn't seem to be too much of a problem with this storm system. I think a lot of it is going to be wind shear, in which, actually you can kind of already see here. If you look at the mid-level winds here, it actually does look like some of that convection is sheared to the southwest of the main circulation. So you can see, obviously, we have all this convection over here in Florida. But you can actually see the center of the storm here is just near Lake Jacksonville. But, the storm part of it, the rain and the storm activity is to the southwest of the core. But yeah, like I said, right now it's nothing super crazy. See, Vienna says, not gonna lie, the satellite image of the tropical storm looks cool. It does, doesn't it? Yeah, especially when you can see that circulation offset from convection. It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool sometimes to see, which is also good too, because it's not really super strong either. So that is definitely pretty good. Misty says, I heard you got 5 inches of rain yesterday. So my mesonet I have, I don't know if you guys knew this, but I have a weather, not one of your Amazon weather stations. This is a full on, research grade station I have whenever I conduct research and stuff with storms and everything. But, high dollar, good, I should say, scientific grade equipment. But my mesonet, we actually measured over 2 inches of rain here yesterday in Lakeland, which is a lot. That's from a single storm too. I mean, we had a single band roll through. Let's actually hop back to the radar here. I do want to take a look back at Mosaic real fast. Oh, let's go back a little bit in time here. We're gonna hop back to yesterday. Let's see here. This should be pretty good. Yeah, there it is right there. You see all that? So this was from yesterday. All that crazy rain that we had from this system here. You can kind of see where that low was here, just north of the Bahamas. And this system did gradually work its way here to the west here, going over the north central side of Florida here, overall. But, I mean, yeah, it was pretty hefty yesterday. That is... for sure. I mean, today obviously is a lot more lighter, but of course we do still have a big blob or a big ball of rainfall working its way from the system here. But yeah, yesterday was definitely quite nasty. That is for sure. Anyways, so that's enough of that. But yeah, so that's what's going on, you guys. I did want to hop on here for a little bit to give you guys a bit of a tropical update here. If y'all have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, my friends. I mean, y'all know we're here for you. So if y'all have any questions, be sure to let me know. I'll be more than happy to help. Once again, take a look at the sea surface temperatures out there. Where the storm system's tracking. Obviously, we got some really, really warm waters out here. So, remember though, that's not alone. That's not the only factor that contributes to strength from tropical systems and whatnot. Ryan says, where's the hurricane now? So it's not a hurricane. It's not expected to be a hurricane, thankfully. But the system right now is off the eastern coast of Florida. We actually just looked at it, but I'll show you again. Which if you look on the satellite viewer, over the last section, we'll bring up the last 48 scans here. See right in here, this is where it's at right now. You can see that central low. It's right over, just off the coast of northeast Florida. Convection is offset from the center. It looks like there is a little bit of wind shear kind of pushing down on it, kind of offsetting some of that convection. But yeah, you can see the main circulation right now is actually literally about to touch land here very, very soon, off the northeastern side. Misty says, do I think it'll get to a tropical depression? I think it's a good possibility. I do. That's kind of what I'm believing it's going to be. I think it will eventually become a depression. Tropical storm, I doubt it. At least from what I'm seeing now with the data, I doubt it. Hurricane, no. I did not think there will be a hurricane out of this, so don't worry. But, like I mentioned, though, regardless of this system, there is a lot of rainfall associated with this, especially for where this thing could end up towards Louisiana, Mississippi, which, it's still not final, but it kind of looked like most of the models point it towards that direction. But, yeah, I mean, there is still going to be a pretty good amount of rainfall with this system here, regardless. But I do think a depression is quite possible here. I mean, right now, the Hurricane Center, we already have a 40% chance probability overall for tropical formation here, which, obviously, has been actually going up, believe it or not. This percentage has been going up quite a bit the last day or so. Yesterday morning, we were only at a 20% chance. Now we're at 40, so we've doubled since yesterday. But yes, probability has been trending upwards. That is for sure. Let's see here. I saw 11 inches of rain fell in Plant City. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did hear about that. My mom actually told me about that. I've been in nighttime mode lately trying to fix my sleep schedule, man. I tell you, I've been asleep most of the day, awake during the night, trying to fix my sleep schedule here from night shift. But But yeah, no, there was a lot of rain out by me. I mean, this was not far from me, and we had 2 inches of rainfall here, a little over 2 inches that I recorded, which was pretty nuts. WWT says, it's been a minute since I was last in here. Well, it's good to see you, my friend. Hope you are well. It is good to see you. And by the way, y'all, like I said, if y'all have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Y'all know we're here for you. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions y'all might have. So yeah, like I mentioned, that's really about all we can really say with the system now. Of course, once again, the spaghetti models here with the intensity has this thing under tropical storm status here. So that, that is definitely good. I don't think, as of now, it doesn't appear to be a big concern for tropical storm. More than likely, it'll remain under tropical storm status as of now. And of course, with our track here, the system is going to be working its way over here towards portions of like the northern Gulf and the northeastern side of the Gulf. One thing I will notice though is that center appears to be further north overall, which is interesting. So we're just gonna have to see what happens with it. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that's not good, WWT. I'm glad he's okay though. That is good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, flooding's no joke, man, I tell you. Flooding is definitely no joke. And regardless of how strong this thing becomes, there is likely going to be a lot of rain with it, overall. I mean, that does seem to be an issue here. Let's take a look at the models here once again. Popping back to GFS. I mean, you can see here, looking at the let's see here. You can see the models here, looking at the precipitation, or sorry, the moisture throughout the atmosphere. The humidity. You see this bluish green area here across the Gulf. That's that system here. And if we take a look at the sound data, you can see that the SKU-T has it relatively saturated. So there's a lot of moisture present, in the atmosphere. So once again, I mean, moisture doesn't seem to be much of a big problem. Lack of. Doesn't seem like the system's going to be lacking too much moisture. Obviously the sea surface temperatures, they are really warm enough. They are really hot, actually. I think the main concern, the main limitation here is wind shear. Let's see here. What's up, Tiffany? Saying, watching from Huntsville. Good to have you here. Why is it called Invest 93L? So it's an invest because it's an investigation here. 93L was just the name it was given. But the identification number. Let's see here. Pluto says hello or hey from Tallahassee. What's up, my friend? Let's see here. Will this storm go over Tallahassee? So, it's a little hard to tell, but why am I thinking Tennessee? I'm sorry. I had a dumb moment there. I was thinking Tennessee for some reason. So the storm system, yeah, will likely go near Tallahassee here. So given the current WPC forecast, over the next few days here, Tallahassee definitely could get a little bit of precipitation out of it. A couple of inches. We definitely can't rule that out potentially. A lot of the impacts though appear to be mostly west of you. Overall, I really wouldn't see anything. Anything big with this. Once again, this thing's not a tropical storm. It's not a hurricane. I mean, the odds are it's probably not going to even be a hurricane or a tropical storm. But, I think as of now, the main concerns, y'all, is going to be towards Louisiana and out there by like coastal Mississippi and Alabama. That's kind of where I see a lot of the main concerns here. That's where there's a lot of the heaviest of the activity. But you know what? There certainly could be a decent amount of rainfall though with this. So we'll just have to see. What's up, Marcus? Saying hello from Abilene, Texas. Hoping there is not another major flooding event for us in the future. Yeah, I hope so. I hope you don't have to deal with that anymore. Unfortunately, we do have a bit of a concern for flooding here for today across portions of the south central side here of Texas. Which, yeah, we do have that at least 15% chance probability here of flooding. So, we're going to have to look out for that. But, yeah, I do hope that ends soon. I mean, you guys have been getting it ridiculous. I mean, it's just been just rain after rain. It's been nuts. It's been very crazy. But I hope you're doing good, Marcus. It is good to have you here. All right, so let's hop on back over here. So here's actually the GFS ensembles. This is something we did not talk about here. So each one of these are a member of the GFS model here, the GEFS. So this is multiple members here, and you can see the median, the average line here is in the black. So that kind of indicates the median here. Majority of the models obviously do have this thing, cutting back into the Gulf here, the northeastern side of the Gulf, north central side, this area here, system will work its way back into the waters here. In which, like we mentioned here, I mean, we are seeing really, really warm waters out there. It seems that there's enough moisture. The only thing I'm concerned about is wind shear, really preventing this thing from really strengthening, which hopefully, that wind shear does get it. Let's see here. Pluto says, rain, I don't mind. It's the wind. I live in the back of the woods. I went through all hurricanes. Never lived on a hurricane. Last one we had. Glad still have a home. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Well, the good news is that I don't think this system's really going to be much of a wind issue, per se, which is good. Once again, here, let me bring back up the intensity guidance here, which you can see that a lot of that is, a lot of that subtropical storm status here. So that's obviously good. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out completely, tropical storm development, but as of now, it doesn't seem quite likely. I think right now, more than likely, this thing's going to be, probably just a depression as of now. But we shall see. We shall see. Yeah, I bet WWT. Yeah, it is pretty rough to watch, I'm sure. Here's latest infrared. Look at that. We're actually really starting to get that convection over Florida now. You can see that circulation here. It looks like that center is just off the coast here of Florida. But you can actually see, though, that main convection, though, I mean, really working in. That's going to be bringing a bit of rain here today. That's why WPC does have that flooding risk here, from that tropical system here. So we will see. But if you guys have any questions, once again, don't hesitate to ask. We are here for y'all, and I want to make sure that you guys are staying weather aware and prepared. So, also, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I'm not going to hold you to it, but consider it. That way, you guys can stay up to date with everything. It would be much, much appreciated. I'd be glad to keep you guys updated with everything. And this is our second update today. We're going to do another one here later on this evening. Anyways. Pluto says, I hate the hurricane cleanups. Yes, they are the worst. The longest cleanup my family had to do is 3 or 4 weeks of cleaning up because we had properties, we own mobile homes and stuff. It sucked. Yeah, Pluto, I get that. We had Milton here last year. I live in Polk County, Florida, and Milton went right over us. I mean, we were right in the eye of the storm here. We were in the northern eye wall, which, eye wall, pretty aggressive place. But yeah, no, there's a lot of damage around here. The cleanup, the power outages, and the heat, that's the worst of it. That's the part that sucks. I enjoy going through the storms, during the storm, I don't mind it. But yeah, it's really once you get, in the aftermath phase, that's where it really sucks. It really does. Tiffany says, is there a possibility this might hit Arkansas this weekend? Honestly, probably not really going to do anything out there. I mean, Arkansas, first of all, let me bring up the precipitation for the next 5 days here with this system. A lot of that stays south of Arkansas, as you can see. Here's Arkansas. Through the next 5 days, a lot of that rain will be out here by, areas here for Louisiana, Mississippi, a little bit of Alabama. That's where the greatest concern remains, actually. So, yeah, I don't see anything big for y'all, to be honest with you. Nothing really big. Tiffany says, thanks, Andrew. No problem. You are very, very welcome. Pluto says, yep, yeah. No, you get it. It sucks. That's the main thing I hated with Milton, was the not power part. That part sucked. Yeah. Not a fan of that. Not really a fan of that. That is for sure. But once again, everybody, heads up to my folks up in the Central Plains and Upper Midwest here today. We got a bit of a risk out here, y'all. Like I mentioned, we do have that level 3 enhanced risk here for today. So we might need to do some coverage tonight. So we'll stay tuned for that. How long did I lose power from Milton? We had the power out for about 5 days. Yeah, it sucked. And you want to know something that was worse? Vienna, you want to know something that was really, really bad? Okay, so get this. Our neighbors on the next street over, on both sides, so 2 streets, we were sandwiched in between these 2 streets that had power. In the middle street that I was in, did not. They had power literally the day after the storm. So it's like, bruh. You don't know how annoying that was. I mean, it was miserable too. I mean, it was hot. This place here, I mean, it gets really warm. It could have been a whole lot worse, but I have a little thermometer inside, and it was like an upper 80s, lower 90s in my room. I mean, it was a little toasty. And then the thing is that whenever I'd try to go outside and cool off, because of so much rain that happened from Milton, caused there to be an enormous amount of mosquitoes. And those mosquitoes would attack you as soon as you step foot outside, and that sucked. So it's like, you go to cool down, you get eaten up alive. There is no in between. So that's the one thing that I hated, that sucked. Yeah. Let's see here. WWT says, let's see, Wisconsin area should have it. Let's see here. I don't know about all of that, to be honest. What's up, Kansas weather? Hope you're doing good, my friend. Vienna says, I lost power from a tornado a few years ago. Yeah. Losing power sucks. It does. As a kid, I used to think it was pretty fun, but, as you get older, it sucks, man. That it does. But yeah, like I said today, though, we do got to watch out for severe weather, too. It's not all just tropical activity. We do got to be weather aware out here today, especially in Nebraska. That's where the greatest risk today is for severe weather here. So, tabletop, nope, nothing tropical. Honestly, it's been pretty quiet. Let's see here. Can I drive to the enhanced risk today? I mean, if you do, make sure it is early, because this event's going to be mostly late. I mean, we're talking like evening event here. Models were kind of suggesting like, anywhere from like 8 to 10 p.m. would be like the strongest of it. But yeah. What's up, WRC? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see ya. All right, let's hop on back over here, y'all. We're going to take a look back over here at the models. Or not the models, satellite, same thing. It's been one of them days, man, I tell you. But Yeah, hopping back to 93 out here. We're actually going to hop on back over here. We're going to go simple water vapor here. Just to kind of look at things. You know, there is a fair amount of moisture. You know, we did have the hurricane hunters. They did go out just a little bit ago. They went to the west here, just did a quick little training mission and went back. They did do a drop sonde too, and they did find that there is a bit of, you know, there is a decent amount of moisture within the area that they monitored. You know, that's not the limiting factor. I think I don't believe is going to be a part of the system here. I think the main problem is some of this upper level shear. You know, is going to be a bit of an issue here. Let's see here. Do I have a forecast for this week for Alabama and the surrounding areas? So, I mean, a bit of rain in the forecast, of course, you know, with this storm system here. You know, it really depends on the track and what this thing does. But, you know, there is a good potential that we're going to have a decent amount of rainfall for, you know, some of those regions out there by the coastal areas, you know, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. You know, it does look pretty decent with the rainfall. A lot of these central sides of the state, though, probably not going to see a whole lot. Severe weather-wise, I mean, we have no severe weather in the next 3 days out here, so, you know, we're looking pretty good as well. You know, I will say, though, throughout the next 2 or 3 days, we do have this thunderstorm risk here, which, you know, does say there could be some thunderstorms, but nothing, you know, nothing super, super crazy. Let's see here. What's up, Misty? What's up, Tracy? Welcome. 5 time when I checked the day 3 outlook. Yeah, I got you. So as of now, day 3, there's nothing severe going on. It's just a big thunderstorm risk here all the way from the Rockies through the plains, Midwest, and into the East Coast here. Really not a lot going on. Tuna says, let's see, do I see an uptick in fishing in the Gulf in the next 3 days? Well, to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about fishing in the Gulf, to be honest with you. One thing I can tell you, and what I believe is what I've heard, I think fish like a lot of cooler water, if I'm not mistaken. One thing I will tell you is that these waters out here are not cold. They are hot, very hot. Now, that could be a regional thing, and I think I did research about, that was with El Nino and La Nina, you know, the Pacific oscillations. Cooler, more nutrient-rich water and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it's the same, if it's regional. You know, I'm not that big in the saltwater fishing. But one thing I will tell you, you should probably know this, is that these waters are very warm. I mean, they are like really, really warm. You know, if we actually take a look at that here real quickly, let's see here. Yeah, hopping back over here towards the waters. I mean, we are really hot. I mean, a lot of the Gulf here is 30, 31 degrees Celsius waters, which that is very warm. Very warm. Misty says, will this have a tropical storm tornado risk on the New Orleans coast? Way too early to tell. You know, once again, this thing is not even guaranteed to be a tropical storm either. It is a little too early to tell if this thing's going to have any cyclone-induced tornadic activity. So, what about North Louisiana? Are we going to get a lot of rain? Probably not a whole lot here. You know, specifically towards like Shreveport area here, probably not going to get a whole lot. So as of now here, let's bring this back up. Yeah, I mean, as of now, this is throughout the next 5 days here. You can see a lot of the heaviest rainfall is going to be for a lot of the lower parts of the state here, you know, including bits of Mississippi, you know, of course, New Orleans. The northern side doesn't really see a whole lot. You know, the eastern side could get, you know, maybe an inch or so. It just depends. You know, a lot of the western side here, you know, obviously they're not, right now, as of right now, not expected to see a lot of that. Let's see here. Vienna says, wait, the waters are warm. Like if you put your hand in the water, it'll be warm. Yeah, very warm. They are 31 degrees Celsius right now. Just off the coast of Louisiana, there's even waters that are likely over 32 degrees Celsius, which if you do the conversion of Celsius to Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius is 89 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's almost like a cold hot tub right now in the Gulf. So yes, it is absolutely warm. Very, very warm. In which for tropical development, you need a minimum of 26 Celsius. And you know, tropical cyclones, they pull a lot of warmth as well from deeper layers as well. Not just surface, but they do, you know, if a storm system is rolling its way over the waters, I mean it'll really pull in a lot of that heat. Which, that's not an issue. The heat from the waters is more than enough that's needed. The moisture as well. There's a good amount of moisture with the storm system here, both observational wise. I mean, there's a little bit of dry slots, especially out there by areas like, Tampa, and, there's a little bit of a dry slot out here right now. But, mostly there is some saturation throughout the atmosphere. And models, they do continue to support, looking at the 300 millibar to 700 millibar, humidity, which that is pressure, but it goes off of altitude. But I mean, you can see here with this storm system here overall, down south, we have a lot of greenish blue indicating that there is a good amount of moisture throughout the atmosphere. So, moisture wise, I don't think is going to be a big problem. I think the main issue which is really limiting this storm system is wind shear. I think that's the main problem. Let's see here. Every time we get severe weather, something bad goes wrong, everything turns south. So true. Yeah, I feel that. But anyways, folks. Well, if y'all have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm probably going to be rolling off here soon. But we're going to do another update for you guys here tonight. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, we'll make sure to give you guys some more updates and everything. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Like I said, I'm not going to hold you to it. I'm not going to make you subscribe. I know a lot of YouTubers seem to shove it down your throat, but I'm just going to say it. I would consider it. That way you guys can stay weather aware. And like I said, we cover the states, the main 48. We cover the tropics, winter weather, severe weather. You got it. We're here to help you guys, and just want to say thank you all for joining. But yeah, we're gonna take one last call of any comments or questions you guys have, and like I mentioned, we'll be here. Let's see here. WWT. I'm not sure the names. Next one is C though, I believe, right? No, wait, hold on. I'm already losing track here. How many storms have we had? 2 or 3? It's been pretty mild, actually. Whatever storms we've had have been very, very mild. But, all right, everybody. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. Once again, if you guys could, leave a like, hit that subscribe button. We'll be back later on tonight, give you guys some more information on the tropics. But thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. And, all righty, everybody. Thank you all, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, my friends. Catch y'all later on.